Здравствуйте, товарищи, and welcome to the first of what I hope is going to be a reoccurring segment here, and those are our mailbag segments. But before I get into that, there's a couple things, honestly, that I'd like to show off. And first off is that I'm officially a university graduate. I've been done all my work for quite some time, but my degree just finally came in the mail. It's not framed yet, or anything like that. So that's a Bachelor of Arts, major in psychology, and it feels really good to know that it's all done. You've got the degree in your hand, and that part of your life is essentially over. It's nice to have all this, all my work recognized. But I did enjoy my university life, and that's a little bit sad to see that part of my life close and move into a new chapter. But someone asked me when I talked about this on Facebook what I'm going to do next, and right now I'm just going to work and enjoy what it's like not to be a poor student for once in my life. But on top of that, I definitely intend to get education at some point. Where I'm going to put that education, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I don't know, as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a lawyer. But honestly, it seems that there is a diminishing need for lawyers in society, and there are more people graduating from law school than there are jobs out there. So that's definitely a factor. Or I could continue with my psychology education, get a master's, then I'd like to get a PhD, and then become a counselor or something like that, or do research or something along those lines. Because honestly, I found psychology really interesting. And then I could be the most educated person in my family. Both my parents have degrees. My dad has his master's, and none of my siblings have degrees. So it'd be nice to be a doctor and have everybody call me Dr. Downing. Or honestly, I'm really enjoying business, and if I continue to enjoy business, maybe I'll get my MBA and just continue down that road. So, considering all those options, but for right now I'm going to work, and then I also really want to travel at some point. I really desperately want to see the world. I got to go to Russia, man. I just have to. It's just something, and again, sort of burning passion. I just got to do it. Maybe a year from now, that'll be in the cards. On top of that, I also ended up ordering sort of this, which is like a decorative Roman gladius here. I don't know why I did. Mainly, I'm not a big sword guy, but there's always been two swords that I've been fascinated with, and that's this one, the Roman gladius, and the katana. And I already have a katana. I actually bought this while I was in Japan, and none of these are sharp, by the way. They're just decorative pieces. The pointy ends, pretty pointy, so I could probably stab somebody if I needed to. So I thought, hey, I've got the one sword I really like. Why not get a decorative piece of the other one? So I did. And honestly, I want to get a replica musket at some point, because that's another weapon I've had this fascination with, is muskets. I love muskets. But that being said, let's get into our questions. So, first question, which I decided to lead off with, because I knew I would be going to this today, and it explains why I'm a little bit dressed up here. This comes from Facebook from John Anderson, and he asks, why did I decide to support the NDP instead of another party like the Liberals or Conservatives? And for those of you who don't know, in Canada, we have three major political parties: the Liberals, the Conservatives, and the NDP. And the NDP stands for the New Democratic Party. And the New Democratic Party is considered the most left. They identify themselves as socialists or social democrats. So I guess that's a little bit of background on the political spectrum. But today we just had our riding's annual general meeting, which I just came back from, and I was elected to an executive position there. And the executive of the riding, helps to manage all the political affairs of the riding, as well as I'm on the election planning council here in my riding, because there's an election coming up, a provincial election coming up in 108 days, and I'm helping the candidate get ready for that in whatever way that I can. And I really enjoy being politically active. It's a passion of mine. But to answer the question why I chose to support the New Democrats, there's a number of reasons. First off is that I'm most politically aligned with them, that I would identify myself as a socialist or social democrat. I used to be a communist, or identify myself as a communist, but those days are long gone. So there's that reason, as well as I really like the people in the NDP. I've met the leader of the federally, Thomas Mulcair. He's a great guy. I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times, and I supported him really early on before he even announced that he was going to be he was going to run for the leadership, and so he's awesome. I've also met the provincial leader of the BC NDP, Adrian Dix, and he's a great guy too. He's just Thomas Mulcair. He's like super smart, but I don't know. The one thing about Adrian, he's like the most reasonable dude on the planet. When you sit and you listen to him speak, he just sounds so reasonable, and it's like everything he's talking about makes sense. And I think it's a great attribute to have in a politician. So I like the leaders, I like the people, as well. I mean, as a obviously left-leaning guy, I'm not very politically aligned with the Conservatives, and honestly, the Liberal Party here in Canada is an absolute joke. The main problem with them is they don't stand for anything. They have no spine. They constantly flip-flop back and forth on different issues. And, you know, that's the reason why they're the third place party right now, is that a lot of people here can't stand them. And the one thing that's great about the NDP is that they're fighters, and they'll fight for the positions that they believe in. You know, they've got the balls, and even if maybe something they believe in isn't necessarily the most popular thing in the polls, they'll still stand up and they'll still make an argument for it, which is something I hugely respect. And, you know, the Liberals definitely won't do that. They'll go wherever they see the winds changing, and I think a lot of people are really turned off by that, and they see something in the New Democrats that they're a very principled type of party, and those are, I guess, some of the reasons why I support the NDP, but I could go on for quite some time. Alright, next question is from YouTube. That comes from 1776 all the way. So I guess this guy's pretty stoked about the American Revolution. He says, can you tell me the games that you're looking forward to, and also which consoles you might get in the future? So the games I'm looking forward to this year they're numerous. Looking to Heart of the Swarm, obviously, Company of Heroes 2, Rome Total War 2, GTA 5. I'm pretty excited about. There are also some interesting projects, like new IPs that are coming out, like The Last of Us and Watch Dogs are hopefully coming out this year. All of those I totally got my eye on. You know, BioShock Infinite, lots of good stuff coming out this year, so it's pretty exciting. So I guess, but if I were to rank number one, it would probably be the first three that I mentioned. Number one being Rome. Number 2 being Company Heroes 2, and number 3 being Heart of the Swarm. And what consoles am I going to get? I'd like to eventually at one point own all of them. That I'm, you know, we'll see. I'm really interested to see what the new consoles are going to come to the table and what they're going to bring. We don't know much about them at this point, so it's tough to say which one I'd like to get over the others, because we don't know a lot. But you know, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting time, because I'm assuming we're going to start seeing the new consoles pretty quick here. Maybe you know, E3, and then they'll probably come out they'll probably come out next year, either early next year, or they might come out. You know, they might wait and do December 2014. Either way, I'm excited to see what they offer, and I guess which one I'll pick up first depends on which one's launch lineup appeals to me the most. So, next, oh geez, I forgot to, oh no, I didn't forget to write down his name. Anyway, this from Honor Harrington Fan, and this is from YouTube again, and he asks, hello, Mr. Comrade Stalin, and then underneath he says, hi Spencer. I was thinking of a few questions, and for you to answer, if you would not mind. First off, when are you going to complete your Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play? And I've really wanted to just put it, just do a couple videos to really put an end to that. The main problem was that I was having trouble keeping my empire together, and all my vassals were revolting and trying to kill me, and I couldn't find a way to keep my empire together. So maybe it's been on my list of things to do, is to just have like a video or 2 or 3 closing out that Let's Play. You know, either trying to keep them all together or dying in a horrible civil war. Either way, it's been on my list of things to do, but there's a lot of things on my list of things to do, so honestly I don't know when I'll conceivably get around to it. Anyway, he says he's asking a lot of, it's pretty substantial question, and he's got a couple here. And the next one is he's going to ask, am I going to do a Let's Play of Heart of the Swarm? And the answer is absolutely. Cannot wait for that game. Everyone knows I'm a huge StarCraft fan. I love StarCraft. I love playing StarCraft. I love talking about StarCraft. And in that vein, I'm trying to get back a little bit into the multiplayer scene, but it's been a long time, and I'm a little bit out of practice. And what they say, the meta game has shifted. And for those of you who don't know what that means sort of over time, different tactics are favored over other tactics, and some moves are more popular than others. And over time, you see players, doing certain things over other things, and that shifts. And honestly, right now, I don't know where the meta game is. I haven't been keeping up. So one thing I honestly like to use this video to do is say that I am looking for someone to be a coach for me, because I know that I've got a lot of room for improvement. And if you're a Zerg player, your master's level, and you're still keeping up with the game and you know what's going on, give me a message, and maybe we'll work something out. And if you've got any experience in coaching anybody in StarCraft, let me know, over YouTube or whatever else, and maybe we can work something out. So, but now he's just talking about the intro cinematic, which looks amazing. And anyway, 100% confirmed. Heart of the Swarm Let's Play is coming when it comes out. Then he asked, other than Canada and Russia, is there any other country that you like politically or for its culture? And I've always been a big fan of Japan. I've been to Japan. I took a lot of Japanese in high school, and Japan is an endlessly fascinating place to me. And I've really enjoyed Imperial Japan, especially Japan in World War II has always been really fascinating for me to study, because I think it gets overlooked by a lot of people, when you look at the greater scheme of things. The people don't know so much about Imperial Japan and the government, and the sort of structures leading up to the war, and that to me is really cool. Everybody gets absorbed by Nazi Germany, and everybody knows a lot about Nazi Germany, but not so much about some of the other Axis partners, even though Japan wasn't really part of the Axis. I guess only in name only, really. But and then he asked another question, which is maybe we'll save for another time. What are my thoughts on the Arab Spring and Civil War in Syria? That'll take a long time to answer, so we'll save that maybe for later. We'll see how much time we have going forward. Anyway, this is another question. Comes from Mr. Ford, and he says, a few of us have been wondering when you're going to do the Sword of the Stars 2 Let's Play. I was wondering if you deem it playable, and I don't own the game, but I'd like to see some gameplay to decide if I should buy it or not. And I know that Sword of the Stars has come up with the Enhanced Edition, Sword of the Stars 2, and it's, again, a thing on my to-do list to actually sit down and spend a good deal of time with Sword of the Stars, because you got to spend a good 15-20 hours with it to decide, is this game going to be a good Let's Play? Is it up to the point where it would be stable enough for me to actually do a Let's Play of it? And at this point, I don't know. I've got to spend that time, and I haven't had the opportunity to spend that time. But again, it's on my list of things to do, along with about a billion other things. So, next question comes from Facebook. This comes from Curtis, and Curtis asks, as a fellow Phoenix Wright / Ace Attorney fan, I would like to know how you feel about the future of the series. And I'm really excited for the new Phoenix Wright game coming up for the 3DS. And anyway, I'll just continue with the question. For example, how do you feel about the use of 3D models in the upcoming 5th game? Capcom's unwillingness to translate one of the series, Ace Investigations 2, and how in the series they switched out the protagonists for the 4th game, Apollo Justice, to Back to Phoenix due to fan demand. And then he also asks another question, which I'll briefly touch on. But anyway, I'm a huge Phoenix Wright fan. Love the game. Excited for the 5th game. Excited for the 3D models. I think they look great. It's a real shame that they didn't translate Ace Investigations 2, because I'd be all over that. I'd buy it on whatever platform. I'd like to see it come out, even if it's just like an iPhone download or something. That would be amazing if they came out with Ace Investigations 2, because I enjoyed the first one. The first one was a lot of fun, so I don't see why they wouldn't bring the second one out. But in terms of switching out the Phoenix in the 5th, or switching on Apollo for Phoenix in the 5th game, which is coming up. Honestly, I like that. I mean, Apollo was good. You know, I didn't have any problems with him. I thought he was actually a stronger character than Phoenix. But, I don't know, Phoenix Wright is Phoenix Wright, man. I mean, he's just awesome. You can't, you know, deny his appeal, I guess you could say. But all that I really ask for the 5th game is that they bring back Maya and they bring back Edgeworth and they show what has happened to them in that timeline, because they didn't say anything about it in Apollo Justice, and I'd like them to tackle that. So, that's my thoughts on the upcoming Ace Attorney game. Also, he asks, have you heard of Omerta City of Gangsters? It's made by the same people that made the Tropico games. Thought you'd like to check it out. Actually, I have it pre-ordered on Steam, and when it comes out, I'm going to spend some time and see if it may be worthy of a Let's Play. You know, there are only certain games that I like to Let's Play, games that I think will have, you know, a certain appeal to them, and I'll see if City of Gangsters is one of those games when it comes out. Alright. So, let me just check our time here. Oh, okay, we got about 20 minutes. Anyway, this comes from Facebook, and this comes from Caleb Nix, and he says, I'm a huge fan of your videos for years, and I have a question, and I'll get straight to it. I was wondering what your, I was wondering if you thought of doing an Adventures of Stalin, like Prince of Macedon does on his YouTube channel. So, to answer that question, Prince of Macedon has the blessing of living in a city that has a lot of cool things to do, which, you know, is Orlando, Florida. So he's surrounded by tons of great, you know, all these cool things all the time. I, on the other hand, live in a tiny town in the interior of BC called Penticton, which doesn't have a lot of exciting things to do. I mean, I can show you mountains outside. There's lots of nice mountains, and they've got snow on them, which looks cool, I guess. But besides that, you know, there's honestly not, you know, a lot of cool things to do here. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, when I lived in Vancouver, I tried to do something like that. And it worked out okay. But living here, I mean, I don't know exactly what kind of adventures I would be able to go on. I could bring you to the NDP journal meeting, which I'm sure a lot of you would be absolutely thrilled to see. But I don't think you can expect that anytime soon. If I move somewhere else that, you know, a bigger city has more exciting things, then it's definitely something I'll consider, but not right now. And this next question comes from Nick, and he asks, what's your opinion of the upcoming Rome 2? I'm totally stoked for it. I can't wait. And he says, Darth Vader, the creator of Darth Mod, has long since quit modding. And honestly, I've always, I obviously mod Total War a lot. I never really got into the Darth Mod for some reason. I never got into that series. I don't know why. So the fact that maybe he's not doing one isn't such a huge deal for me. But Rome 2 is going to be, I don't know. It's, I think it's what we will, you know, all been waiting for and clamoring for a long time, and judging by the gameplay footage that they've showed, it looks incredible. So that's, my biggest fear right now is it's going to be pushed back to 2014. That's the only thing I'm worried about, and I think honestly that is a possibility that might happen. But you know, I've got my fingers crossed and hope that they don't. You know, it's a bittersweet thing, you know, because you want the game to come out and you want it to be good and polished and ready to go, but at the same time you don't want to wait for that. So, but I mean, if they need to take the extension, I mean, this is by no means confirmed at all. It's still slotted for, I believe, the end of the year-ish, this year, but I have a feeling in my gut that it might be pushed back to 2014, but we'll see. But you know, if they need the extra time, they should definitely take it. But yeah, in any case, all right. So yeah, I don't think. Sorry, Honor Harrington. I don't think we'll have time to answer the Arab Spring question. But last question comes from Deno 256, and he asks, "What made you like the dictator that's so hated throughout the world, and have you gotten much hate for it?" And this is a complicated question. And I made a video a long time ago about it, but I think a lot of what I said in the video doesn't apply much anymore. And honestly, it's just become like this ingrained part of my personality now, that it's become this part that it's just there to stay, that it's like separate from, you know, the actual Joseph Stalin. There's a separate entity there. But honestly, Stalin was my nickname for a long time, even in high school before I started making videos. People in high school called me that. Some of it was endearing, and some of it was not endearing. But I remember at my graduation slash prom or whatever, they were giving out like awards to, you know, goofy awards to certain characters in my high school graduation, and I got called up, and, you know, for being, you know, that guy who liked Stalin or whatever, and they gave me a fake mustache, because like every great dictator needs a fake mustache, and I wasn't expecting that. It was a lot of fun. It was really great, and you know, I think my poor date was pretty embarrassed by that, but oh well. I'm sure she got over it. But I think, and then kind of like I said, I remember to really address this question a little bit more seriously. Like I said, it's something people, you know, used to call me, and like I said, it wasn't always endearing. And I kind of remember there's an exchange in the first Song of Ice and Fire books, you know, Game of Thrones, where Jon Snow is talking with you know, the dwarf, Tyrion. Tywin's his father. Anyway, he's talking with Tyrion, and you know, Tyrion gives Jon Snow a piece of advice about, you know, how people always call Jon Snow a bastard, and, you know, Tyrion's a dwarf, and he says to Jon Snow, he's like, well, take, you know, this part of you that people, you know, always use to attack it, and become proud of it, make it part of yourself, and, you know, wear it like a badge of honor, and therefore people can't ever use it to, you know, try and attack you or hurt you again. And I think that's a lot of what you know, the icon Stalin came to me. It's something that over time I became proud of, and wore it as a badge of honor. And, you know, it eventually evolved into this right here, which I think is something to be hugely proud of. And yeah, have I gotten much hate for it? A lot less than you'd think. I do get the occasional hate mails. I love hate mail. Hate mail is great. Where people will tell me I'm a stupid commie, and blah 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 blah, and you know, how I should go kill myself, and all these great stuff. But that doesn't happen. It happens a lot less often than you might think it would. I would say 99% of the feedback I usually get is positive. So, with that brings us to the end of our questions. I didn't get to all the questions people have given me, but I guess there'll be plenty of time for more. So I hope you guys enjoyed going through that, and I hope you learned a thing or two maybe. But last thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up is I've got a giveaway. And what I'm going to give away today is I'm giving away 3 copies of Natural Selection 2. And if you don't know what Natural Selection 2, and these are Steam copies, I should just clarify, Steam copies of Natural Selection 2. And if you don't know what Natural Selection 2 is, I really... Okay, sorry about that. My camera decided it would like collapse and crash for some reason. Anyway, Natural Selection 2 is my number 9 game of the year. And if you don't know, it's kind of a first-person shooter RTS hybrid. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. And I've got 3 copies that I'd like to give out. So, the way I tried to come up with weird, convoluted ways in which I could distribute these, but none of them really came to fruition. So, basically what I'd like to do is I'd like to, all you have to do is, I'm trying to find one medium from which you can message me. And let's just do YouTube this time because it's easiest. Just message me over YouTube and say, hey, Stalin, I want the Natural Selection 2 copy, and then I will choose 3 people at random, and we'll announce those people next week, and give those copies out. So if you want to win a copy of Natural Selection 2, just message me over not Facebook, YouTube. Make sure it's YouTube. Only want, if you message me over Facebook about this, your thing will not be counted. So message me over YouTube. Say, all you have to say is I want the copy. Also, make sure you have Steam, because it is a Steam copy of the game. And if you don't have Steam, then I can't really distribute it to you. So, with that, we're going to bring this to a close. So I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been Joseph, Stalin. Signing off for now. I'll see you guys next time.